Peoples, it's been a busy day. It's still snowing outside. They said we were supposed to get snow for like 48 hours straight, and it's been snowing for 48 hours straight. Um, so y'all know, of course, I'm gonna have an issue with this topic. And what actually drove me to actually say something about it is the conversation that I had to give this woman she's almost 60 and she has attempted to quit smoking after all these years. And she just was like, it's a shame it took me this long to even attempt to stop smoking. And I felt her, but I actually think that people underestimate the addiction that's tied to smoking. Now here's what makes me mad about this whole smoking thing. Cigarettes have a very high tax on them. I think that's probably in every state. They're very expensive. Um, and well, number one, the whole thing with selling of the loose cigarettes. Now, and I think that this is what led to the death of um, Eric Garner. What was that, like 2014, 2015? He was supposedly in New York selling loose cigarettes, and that's what they were supposed to be charging him with before they murdered him. I know some people look at it like that's allegedly, but I mean, okay. So here's the thing with this: you actually get charged for selling loose cigarettes. It's illegal to open the pack of cigarettes and sell individual cigarettes out of the carton. Now, of course, we know that where this is happening at is probably in neighborhoods where the cigarettes are too high for people to actually buy an entire pack, but they still want their cigarette. And what bothers me the most about this is that the only thing that's illegal about this high addiction, this high level of addiction, is the fact that you're escaping some sort of tax if you sell them loose. Because when they charge those that are selling the loose cigarettes, like the liquor store or whatever, when they selling the loose cigarettes, I think they charge them, like most states it's like $1,000 the first penalty, and then like $2,000-$3,000 every penalty after that. And it's a deposit into a tax compliance and administrative fund. So it seems like everything that I was looking up, it seemed like it led back to a tax. Here's where this gets shaky at. And this could just be in my neck of the woods. This could just be the people that I've talked to that are smokers. We tend to underestimate the addiction in smoking. And I say that because when I talked to this woman, and she said that she had been trying for years to quit smoking, and it's a shame it got to this point where she finally is just like, I'm going to do this, and she's almost 60. Now, what I gave her is that you're alive to try to quit. That's a good thing, because we all know that cigarette smoking can come with cancer. It can come with, you've had people that have fell asleep smoking a cigarette and burnt down an entire house. So it's not like it doesn't come without certain losses. You have people that have had a cough all their life, and it's due to them smoking all of their life. But the bigger part is that I don't think that she was understanding the level of addiction she had. And I say that because cigarette smoking is normalized. We don't understand that this is an addiction that's actually normalized. And when I say that, I mean this is an addiction you can actually go and openly buy it in a store. You can't go into a store and buy loose packs of cocaine or crack. I mean, we to the point where we can go and buy weed, but you need your card. So, but this is an addiction that is pretty much normalized to the point where they're only looking at the tax on the purchase of it. And when I say it's normalized, I mean that the addiction is so heavy that you're granted a smoke break at work. Like when you work in a work environment and your boss is familiar with the fact that you smoke, they'll come looking for you. I hear this in the office. She going on a smoke break. And it's like, I mean, we're not gonna get a weed break, but we're it's okay that we get a cigarette break. You understand what I'm saying? It's not okay to have weed or heroin or crack in your system. You can't be popping pills, and this is what's in your system. Should you have to take a drop, but it's okay to have nicotine in your system. It's okay to smoke freely in some states in public areas. You can't just out and do the drug you addicted in open areas, but this addiction is legal to the point where in certain states you can still smoke in bars, you can still smoke in public areas, you can still smoke in a restaurant. Like, it's so normalized that it's out in the open when you go in the gas station for you to pick which one you need to smoke and pay for it. Like, there's nothing saw as far as this addiction goes that makes it seem as if it's bad. Now, we frown on people that shoot up. We frown upon people that have become crack addicts, heroin addicts. Hell, we frown upon people that are alcoholics and we know that they have a drinking problem. We do not frown upon the addiction that's tied to smoking. And I thought that was crazy that the person that's actually doing the smoking doesn't really see themselves as actually having this bad of an addiction. And here's the thing, there's nothing that's forcing you to go and get help. You have people out here who have to go to, if you get caught drunk driving, they're going to make you take a class, pay all these fees and all this other stuff. If you get caught smoking when you get pulled over, the officer going to ask you to put your square out. I mean, it's not funny. I'm just being honest with y'all. And the only thing that's illegal about it is if you open up the pack and sell it loose. We're not looking at this like this is a really harsh addiction and that it takes a whole lot of strength to get people to actually stop smoking. We underestimate the level of strength that it actually takes for people to stop smoking. I know drug addicts personally, and you all know this about me already, that have gone to jail, and that is the only time that their body has been drug free. But when you go to jail, you borrowing money to get you a loose square. You want money on the books so you can purchase squares. This is an addiction that even in jail, you're allowed to buy. Like, I just think that we underestimate the addiction that is tied to smoking and how much it actually takes for somebody to stop smoking. If you want a drug addict to stop getting high, get them off the streets, what do? We lock them up. If you have somebody that's an alcoholic and they've gotten a couple DUIs, what do? We actually take away their use to be able to drive. We suspend a driver's license. You got to report to this class every day at a certain time. You got to pay this, and that, and everything. And in some instances, I've actually known people that have had the breathalyzer things in their car just to start their car. We don't go through none of this to get people to stop smoking. None of it. It is so normalized. And so my hat is off to the woman that I talked to who said, I'm almost 60 and here I am trying to stop. So my hat is off to you because it takes a lot. That is a strong addiction. And there is nothing you could possibly go through that would actually just warrant for you to not be able to even have access to it. So my hat goes off to those of you who decided this is the year 2021 that you are going to stop. There's something in me that feels like there are people that are looking at this like this is going to be the biggest struggle of their life. I want you to know, I'm going to personally say a prayer for those of you who are trying to stop smoking. That is a hefty request. That is something big to try to stop doing in itself. You are, especially people who have been smoking for years. I had a woman who I knew. She was an older woman. She smoked for years. I'm talking about to the point where it had affected her nerves so bad that she would sit there smoking. Even though her hand was shaking, she would still smoke that square. She would be tired after work, and she would sit there with that cigarette burning. And it just so happened somebody was always there to just take the cigarette out of her hand and put it out. But that's how fires and things get started. You had to have that cigarette before you went to sleep, but you were so tired that you fell asleep before you were even done with the cigarette. Like, this is how strong that addiction is. My hat off to those of you who feel as though you are going to try to stop smoking this year, my hat is off to you. I am going to pray that God deliver you from that addiction, because it is a strong addiction. We underestimate it, we normalize it, and the only thing illegal about it is if you take the cigarettes out the pack and sell them. I just find that to be completely ridiculous. You can actually feel as though you're gonna charge somebody. And it's sad because this is a reason for a police officer to actually have something to say to you and then to turn around and things to go really bad. It's sad. It is so sad. And it just bothered me that I was listening to this woman, and I'm sitting here thinking to myself, I don't think she understands how bad her addiction has been. And that, hell, just admitting, I think any addiction, anything that you're tied to, I think even a soul tie requires for you to admit that there's a problem. Anytime you come out of something, there has to be an admission that there's a problem. That ain't just the 12 steps to recovery. That should be in anything that we do. But I commend those of you who have decided to take this year and you're going to stop smoking. My hat off to you. I'm so proud of you all that are taking that leap. I will be praying for your health. I will be praying for your well-being. And I will be praying that God strengthens you in this time, because you can fall weak. It doesn't take much when you're trying to rid yourself of an addiction. You can fall weak. And I know that it takes 21 days to break a bad habit and 21 days to pick up a new one. I felt like the lady that quit, that I knew, that was falling asleep with the cigarette in her hand and everything, she had been smoking for years. That lady quit cold turkey. And you know what she said to me when I asked her? I don't understand. How did you just all of a sudden up and quit as much as you smoke? That lady looked at me in my face and she said, I was sitting at the kitchen table after work. She said, and I always sit at the kitchen table when I first come in. I put my bags in one chair and I sit in the other chair and I light me up a cigarette. She said, and I took a puff off that cigarette and I heard a voice tell me, put that cigarette out. She said, wasn't nobody there but me. She said, I put the cigarette out because it scared me. She said, and the voice told me, you will never smoke again. She said, and I never did. And the woman had me shook, because I was sitting there like, what? But when it comes on you, when God puts it on you that it's time, you can't fight that. So for those of you who are trying to stop smoking this year, my hat off to you. I promise you, I am going to be praying for you all that are trying to beat that addiction, because it is a terrible yet strong addiction to break. It's too normalized for you to feel as though you have to stop smoking. What out here is making you feel as though you have to stop smoking? Nothing you do is going to tell you you can't smoke. I know people that had lung cancer that still smoked. That right there, to me, that right there, that shows you how powerful that addiction is. If you know you have lung cancer and they're telling you that your lungs are black and it ain't nothing else we could do for you, and you continue smoking the blood of Jesus, that just lets you know how strong that addiction is, though. So I just wanted to come on here and tell you all that. And to the woman that I spoke to, who is almost 60, if you see this video, I just want you to know that I am praying for you. You got this. I know it's a struggle. If you need me to bring you some carrots or whatever it is that y'all do in place of the cigarettes, I will. I don't know how that goes. I don't smoke squares. But I will. I told y'all in another video, I don't care what it is that you try to rehab, because if she gonna quit smoking, that's a form of rehabilitation that she's putting herself through. But everybody needs some type of support when they go through a rehab. So y'all make sure y'all praying for those that tell y'all. If y'all got somebody near and dear to y'all that's telling y'all that they trying to quit smoking, y'all be that rock, that support system, that person that holds them accountable. You be everything you can for that person, because it's not hard. I mean, it's not easy. It's hard. So, yeah. I felt something in me when I was talking to her. She was like, I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it. After I talked to her, I started crying, because it really resonated with me. Like, that's going to be hard for her. And I started thinking about why is it that it's going to be so hard for her and not a drug addict or somebody that's battling alcoholism. There are laws in place that keep people who have committed a crime that included alcohol or drugs. It'll keep them from using. You got people that have to go and take drops every week because of a drug case that they were connected with, and they have an addiction. Like, there are just certain things that people go through that will force them off of something. Cigarettes is too normalized for you to be forced off of something, forced off of it. So I just find it to be hard to shake. I don't know. I've never smoked, but I really had to think it through as I was trying to understand where she was coming from. But after I got done talking with her is when I really had to really take it in and think about what she's getting ready to go through as far as trying to quit. So you all pray for her. You all pray for everybody else that's trying to quit smoking cigarettes, because it's tough, y'all. I love you all, and I will see you next video.